is Charlotte. I'm very excited to speak to you today about the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse we have in Virgo at 29 degrees. So it's not really visible in the northern hemisphere, it's more visible in the southern hemisphere at this time, around Australia, New Zealand, but we can all feel its energy. And a couple of weeks ago, I did a video together with Richard, my good friend, and we were talking about, back then, the lunar eclipse in Pisces. This is kind of, back then it was like the ending, and today is more the beginning. So let's go back and just recap a little bit, because during the lunar eclipse in Pisces, that was very close to the nodes. And I see it like, you know, a gate where you walk through and you walk from something that has served its purpose, you outgrown it, or it no longer holds, you know, the values or the power over you that it used to, and you are ready to shift it, to release it, surrender, to stop controlling things, for example, and see what will be. So, you know, you walk through something new, a new chapter. You are willing to embrace some more of the unknown, but also to stretch yourself. So it was really a time of release of that old pattern, or that old conditioning, that things that hold us back with self-criticism and self-doubt. And, you know, all these limiting beliefs that we walk around with without being aware. And there's always somebody listening when we do this inner critical talk to ourselves. And it does go out and reflect our reality. So it's really, really important to become aware of what we're saying to ourselves, what we're believing about ourselves and others. And so if we can talk about a little bit the Virgo principle, the typical words that we always use about Virgo is it's about work, it's about service, it's about health. And that's very true. But if we dig a little deeper in that, let's think about what it means. What does it mean about work and service, for example? So we all need to have some work, or most of us need to have some work in order to pay our bills, to pay for our life, and so on. But work is also an exchange of our skills, you know, and Virgo is exactly about that, fine-tuning your skills, finding out what you're good at, and that becomes a value that you offer. And in a way, it's in the form of exchange. So I do this for you and you pay me a salary, for example. And this might be a time for, I've noticed, people getting to a point where the job they're currently doing, it's no longer fulfilling. There's something missing. And it becomes too much routine. And this is a backside as well of Virgo, that things can become a routine, and then it loses its energy and it loses its drive and joy. So I see a lot of people have questioned, you know, their day-to-day work, their day-to-day routines, and maybe being willing of saying, okay, how can I fine-tune my skills? How can I, maybe I need to shift a little bit. Maybe I need to just take a few courses, but maybe I need to get into something new altogether. So the other point is, and this can also come back to, of course, what we believe about ourselves. Maybe we think in work, well, I don't know anything else. I can't improve. But that is a restriction we put on ourselves. Most of us can actually do a lot more than we believe if we put our mind to it. So it's about finding that goal again that makes you excited. What is the next step for the Virgo principle within us, where we want to work, but we also want to be feeling that we make a difference. And that's the whole thing about Virgo. They like to help, they like to organize, they like to make things smooth. And, you know, you can't do it alone. That's why we all need to give a little bit of service to each other. And service, the way I see it, it can be in family, it can be with friends, it can be towards your kids, your husband, your wife, whatever it is, you know, the little things we do for other humans in order for everything to flow better, and to be there as a friend, you know, as a parent, as a daughter, as a son, whatever it is. And that service is also about discerning, where do I want to put my energy? Who do I want to give to, and why? Some of the things that come up with Virgo can be that you give a lot to certain people because you feel sort of a duty. That can be very Virgo principle. It's a duty to give. And sometimes you might stop up and say, well, wait a minute, why do I keep giving to this group or to this person and they never actually thank me or give anything back? And this is what I noticed with a few friends, that they decided, you know what? I have one friend who was saying, well, I realized with so-and-so people, I'm always the one reaching out, I'm always the one organizing, and I'm exhausted from it. And in fact, I think I will prioritize differently, and I will wait and see who comes to me, and then I'll invest in that friendship. So sometimes we can go a little bit behind the surface and see, why are we giving this service to whom and why? Is it because we will want to get the validation? Is it because we can say, oh, I'm a good person, I did so and so? But if we do it out of duty, or we do it to be the good person, or the nice friend, or whatever it is, maybe it's time to take a look and see if this is where you really want to put that energy. So then we come to health as well. So we all know, yes, we should eat healthy, we should exercise, and so on and so on. But, sometimes it's not the big dramatic shift with Virgo. It's more like this subtle day-to-day consistency that makes actually the big change in the end. So even though, we've gone from, ending something and to now there's a new start in this solar eclipse, there is a new start that we can say, okay, what have we tidied up? Like a real Virgo thing. What have we tidied up? What have we taken down from the cupboards and given away to charity? There's a pile of chucking out, in our inner self. And what is now neatly packed on our shelves that we want to continue with. So with regards to health, Virgo is also known for being the healer. Not only by profession, but also just the simple act of service, of being a good listener, of thinking about what somebody might need who is in a difficult situation, that humanity that we all need for everything to be worthwhile, So these are some of the good principle of Virgo, but also included is, what we could let go of in order to take the next step. I was actually going to share my screen because I want to show what we have here as a, let's see if I can share it. So here we have the chart of today, and this is for New York. It's very interesting that up here we have the sun and the moon together in Virgo, and opposite we have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So I find this is very interesting, this opposition, because there's some really, really strong messages coming from Saturn and from Neptune. So Saturn is in Pisces, but Neptune has just gone into 0 degrees, almost 1 degree in Aries. So it's almost like with this Saturn, there's a bit of heaviness. There's a bit of heaviness around, it's still this is still happening in the 29 degree. So it's still like tidying something up. So what is this heaviness that we feel sitting in Pisces that we need to take a look at before we move forward? So the way I see it with Saturn, it's some duty and some guilt, something we need to tie up relating to not being good enough, not feeling that we have maybe the same right as everybody else to receive the good things in life. Maybe we feel that we should have done something better. We are a little bit hard on ourselves. for something in the past that we need to release. And I think we really get a chance to move forward. And here we have Neptune conjunction in a fresh new degree of Aries. Is almost like saying, dream big, don't be bogged down by, the heavy duty, guilty of Saturn, but think about, let that go, surrender with Neptune, and go in the new flow of Aries and move forward. Don't bring all that negativity with you into the next chapter of your life. So, but not only that, we have actually, the opposition, but we have a kite formation going on as well, which is a big trine here between Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. And, there's a lot of good flow here. So we get the input from two air signs, Gemini and Aquarius. It's almost like, we bring a little bit of wind, a little bit of new ideas. And of course, Pluto in Aquarius is very transformative energy, is like very forward thinking. It's about shedding that old skin that doesn't work for you anymore, that's holding you back, and is really looking into the future with, some optimism and some, new ideas for where you want to head. And the same with Uranus in Gemini. It really also is about new ideas and, looking into the future. And here a lot of people have been talking about AI, what is that going to look like in the future? How are we going to fit in? How can we embrace, the advantages? How can we be aware of maybe, new challenges that will be asked of us in the work area? So, but there is a good flow here. There is some new input coming in, and there is, this is also forming like a minor trine down here where you have the apex planets being Saturn and Neptune. So it's almost like, even though it's upside down actually, but the kite, if you think about it, it gets wind under the wings by the two air planets. And, the tailwind is sort of, the rocket. I think about it as the sun and the moon taking off, and it's giving a new direction, dream big and let go of whatever's been holding you back. So this was a little image that I would just love to share with you, because it's all connected. We're not just, this is not just solar eclipse, there's a lot else going on in our chart. And what is really valuable perhaps is for you to look at your own birth chart and see if you have any planets near any of these planets in formation, to see if it has, what kind of like personal effect it has for you, what kind of specific themes are coming up for you in this final stage of or letting go, where you embrace something new. And it's clear when you want something new to happen, we know that we need to clear something. We can't hold on to the old and then just, okay, I'm just going to try the new thing here, but I'm still going to, just hold on to what I know. So we're really being challenged a bit to, to trust that process of letting go, that something else can enter into our lives. And especially if we have been very self-critical, if we have been very limited in our views in terms of what we are able to do, let's say the work area, a lot of us feel, okay, I know what I have, I know the work I have, and I'm good at it, and I don't want to rock the boat, I'm secure in my job, but I'm not happy anymore. It doesn't fulfill me, I'm not excited to go to work. And don't we all deserve, to have some excitement with what we do, with the skills we share, with what we give of ourselves? So this might be a time to go back a little bit and think, what did I enjoy doing when I was younger? Did I just let that slip? Have I just given up on my dreams? So here you have, again, you have the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, and I think about it as well as Saturn is also the strategist, is the one that said, okay, you take the dream of Neptune and make it happen. You know, Saturn is really good at that. So I don't know if, hopefully this is something that you find useful to think about. I hope everyone feel that they have the opportunities, they have some, they can feel this energy as some new energy coming in, and they're embracing it and wanting to make some really good, healthy and joyful changes in our lives. So if you have any questions or comments, or what's coming up for you, what you like to see happen in your life, feel free to leave me a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.